Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be doing some boot polishing. Now, as you can see, I have these 3 boots right here. This one is actually currently in the boot polishing process. Now, because the camera can't necessarily pick up the boots, we're going to have a look at some clips that I've recorded previously. So, with these clips, you'll see over this side here, we have these 2 boots. These 2 really need polishing. As you can tell, the one up the top here has got a bunch of pretty much like rocks hitting it constantly. The one down the bottom is just all scuffed up. Whereas the one on the left side of the screen is actually pretty much finished. It's pretty much there. Now, something to note during the boot polishing phase. You have to remember that it does take time and you have to take your time. Otherwise, it will all mess up and it will not work. So, let's get on to the boot polishing. Now, a couple of things you will require is polish. I recommend this brand right here if it still exists or something like it. It needs to be black polish for leather. I recommend this brush right here, including this brush. And then some sort of cloth or with the water, some paper towel. I do recommend water. Doesn't necessarily matter how you get said water. You can spit on the boots, that does work. I personally don't, but let's get started. So, first off, we need to open up our can. Now, some of these cans are a little bit painful to open up, but as soon as they're open, they're open. Now, as you can tell on my finger, these polish is really messy. Do not get it on your clothing, especially on any uniform, because otherwise it becomes a mess. Now, if you're doing this inside, I do 100% recommend getting some sort of cardboard or something like that, or just do it outside, because this is really messy. Now, we'll start off with this brush here. What we're going to do is we're going to take the polish, just dab it in, dab in the brush with the polish, and just start wiping. It's basically the first step. You just got to wipe around. Now, you got to get to where all the leather is. So, if we have a look on front on camera, for example, if we have a look, we'll see that the leather is pretty much everywhere. We have some leather back here, some leather across the side, some leather down here as well. So, you got to make sure that while doing this, you got to get even spreads. Now, it does take a bit, so again, take your time. If you so want to, you can unlace your laces. Check out another video that I have created on how to lace your boots correctly. And we're just going to go around the entire boot. The front part is one of the main parts, as it's that's where you mainly find where all your scuffing ends up, but you can find some scuffing on the back. It is not rare, it is 100% possible for that to happen. Now that you've wiped it all in, you've got to make sure that with boot polishing, you do not leave it for too long, because otherwise it will damage your boots massively. When you polish your boots, you're actually pretty much repairing your boots. That's what you're doing when you polish them. So, I'll now do it the same boot over here. Dab it in, and then just wipe across. Again, mainly the front. And then again, make sure you're giving an even spread all the way around the back, because again, you could have some scuffing on the back as well. Now, again, this does take time. So, after you've done this polishing phase, I recommend closing the lid. And you're now going to have to wait a little bit. It does take time. I actually started this boot earlier, and it still requires a little bit of time, but This next part does take time. I recommend around 10 to 15 minutes wait. So around, if you want to watch YouTube or play a game, maybe 2 rounds of a game, 5 videos, that kind of works well. But now, pretty much, we just gotta wait. You gotta wait for this part to be done. So, I'll catch you back when it's done. Okay, now that we have polished our boots, you can tell all this by just looking at the texture now. It's pretty much done, but we are not done yet. So, let's have a look at these 2 boots that I have actually done a little bit earlier. One of these boots has just been only the polishing step. This is the one that's only been through the polishing step. This one here has been through the next step, and you can tell the difference through both cameras. So the top one right here, and then on our front camera, you can definitely tell the difference. You can tell this one shines a lot more. That is what you want. You want this one to shine a lot more than this one right here. So, the way you do that is very simple. What we'll do is, first, we will grab our brush, this brush right here. Not this one, but this one. What I like to do is put my hand through the boots, and then start scrubbing really hard. You want to make sure you do this over every single leather part or every single part you have polished. Now this does take a bit, as you have to make sure you go through every single part thoroughly, otherwise it won't work and it won't be worth it in the end. You can already tell that the shine is actually starting to come up. Just go through, shining up the boot. Making sure you also get this part down here as well, so you're like half on this leather, half down here. And making sure you do this front part, as the front part, again, the front part's pretty much where you will get all of your scuffs. Now that we have done this, you can tell already it's done, but it is not. Now, we'll grab a cloth, just give it a nice little wipe. And if it requires it, we'll grab some paper towel, dunk it into our water for just a little bit. Just put some water on the front of the boot. You only need to do a little bit. So just grab your cloth, wipe it down a bit. If you have 2 cloths, this will work well as well.
Just a little bit more water.
Now again, I recommend doing this outside, or if you're going to do it inside, have some cardboard or some sort of table protector, because again, polish gets messy really quick. Now let's go to the other boot. So, same process as last time. Hard scrubs. Making sure you go over all the leather parts, as that's where you are putting the polish. And this one doesn't actually need much water. It's pretty much good already. Just do that. There you go. Give it a nice little cloth. And there you go. Those boots now look pretty much similar to these ones right here. So, that is how you polish your boots. Now, a couple of things to remember while cleaning up. I recommend, for this brush right here that goes into the polish, put it into a plastic bag, like so. Just so then you don't get it anywhere or anything like that. Like, it can get really messy really quickly. I recommend also keeping all your polishing kit together. Maybe, if you can, in one bag. If you did end up using paper towel, I recommend disposing that into the bin. The water, just put it down the sink, that's fine. And a couple other things, if you do get it onto your hands, make sure you wash it off. If it gets onto your clothes, you have to immediately wash those clothes immediately, because otherwise you will find that you'll have multiple problems in the future. I recommend also trying your best not to scuff your boots. You will get them scuffed on bivouacs, but that's just a part of being a cadet, part of being life. If you need a polishing kit, ask your parents. Your parents will know what a polishing kit is pretty much. And I'm sure they'll be able to get you something like this to get it worked out. There is some things called quick polish. Quick polish can look in various ways. For example, something like this. I recommend do not use these at all. Never use these, as it can end up long term damage your boots and it doesn't stay on. So don't use quick polish, you don't need it anyway. Polishing it without quick polish is so much more easier, so much more worth it, as you get a nicer, cleaner job with it. As you can tell already, this is really clean. Quick polish, you will pretty much never be able to get that shine ever. And you can tell between these two boots right here. Shiny, because we've gone through those steps. Not shiny, we haven't gone through those steps. So, that has been how to polish your boots 101. I hope this will help. If you want, there'll be how to lace your boots just right over here. Again, hope you liked it. If you did, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.